This is the ultimate Bitcoin cheat sheet that tells us where Bitcoin is expected to go in price by using a combination of historically accurate price, time, and macro indicators. And we simply need to combine them and go with the flow with whatever the majority tell us to do to make the most out of this bull run and finally sell near the top. The indicators here are what I've used to predict Bitcoin moves for the past 8 years. So sit back, relax, and let's start with the best indicator for identifying Bitcoin cycle tops. The Pi cycle top is made up from two moving averages that together have told us every Bitcoin cycle top. But we can go a step further than just waiting for this to show another sell signal and use the data behind this indicator to predict when exactly the next top should happen. This chart below has replotted all the data from the Pi cycle top indicator into this new graph, and whenever this line touches the top horizontal line is when a top signal fires off. Every single cycle, this line has increased at a 20-degree angle, and doing the same for this cycle puts a top in at Q1 of 2025. The last three Pi cycle top sell signals have also been around 852 days after the 20-degree angle slope started, and this also gives us a top in early 2025. So according to the first indicator, we're still months away from the top, but we're just getting started here. This next indicator has also been incredibly accurate, but most have never heard of it. The golden ratio multiplier uses multiples of the 350-day moving average of Bitcoin's price to identify where there is major resistance for Bitcoin's price. The multiples use the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence, both of which are important mathematical numbers that consistently appear in reality. You can see all the multiples of the 350-day moving average represented by these lines, and every cycle tends to reach the line one lower than the previous cycle before finding a top, and this is likely just due to Bitcoin growing in size and it being harder to move bigger assets in price. So this indicator doesn't show us exactly where the top is. Think of this as just being a major line of resistance Bitcoin just doesn't tend to cross. So in the last bull run, every time the price went slightly above this, we had a top, and this cycle around we touched it once, and that marked the local top in March, leading to the current 8-month-long consolidation. Assuming the bull run isn't over and this was just a mid-cycle top like we've seen before, this means the next major area of resistance on this next leg up is currently $112,000. This line will keep increasing in the coming months though, so the resistance will likely be higher the longer it takes Bitcoin to take the next major leg up. So yeah, I reckon the next time we start battling with that red line at above 100k US dollars, then that could mark the top for Bitcoin for this cycle. One of the most popular indicators of all time has to be the MVZ Score. However, my version of this chart is a little different. So this uses blockchain analysis to identify periods where Bitcoin is extremely over or undervalued relative to its fair value. Whenever the orange line is in the red box, that means that Bitcoin is very overvalued according to this indicator, and this has also been incredibly accurate every single cycle. However, I don't trust this specific chart as the last cycle was too close to not hitting the red box in my opinion. So for safety, I'm going to count this as being a market top signal if this orange line goes to above a value of 6.5 instead of 7. These next three indicators are incredibly different but just as important as they measure the overall crypto market degeneracy. But before I get into those, Bybit is the world's second largest exchange and has a free $30,000 deposit bonus you can claim by signing up using the link below. Once you claim the $30,000 bonus, you can actually put your money on the side and trade only with the bonus and then withdraw all the profits. So take full advantage of this free money I'm giving you. Reminder though that trading, especially with leverage, should only be done by experienced traders. Back to the video. So the first indicator is Bitcoin dominance, and every time Bitcoin dominance has gotten down to this red box, we have seen a market top, and that is because when money flows out of Bitcoin, it leads to a drop in Bitcoin dominance, and it means all the money is going into riskier altcoins rather than Bitcoin. And this tends to happen the most during the peak of the bull run when everyone is incredibly degenerate and going all in on risky altcoins. Next, the others dominance is a measure of what percentage the entire crypto market cap is in all coins apart from the top 10 by market cap. So this is basically a measure of how much money is in medium to smaller cap altcoins. And the others dominance tends to bottom in this green box, which normally marks the bottom for any major bear markets or any major dips in general. And this bottom is normally followed by an alt season and the others dominance going back up with the crypto market. Now, on the other hand, whenever the others dominance reverses into the red box up here, it's a sign to be careful that an alt season has gone on for a little too long and you're in top territory for the market. So all major Bitcoin and crypto tops have occurred when the others dominance was at a super high level in the red box, and all the bottoms have been when the others dominance was in the green box. We're still currently near the lows in the others dominance and nowhere near near the red box, which means we should be nowhere near a top for the overall market, and we should still be expecting a huge alt season in the coming months. Lastly, we have USDT dominance, which is the largest stablecoin, and just like Bitcoin dominance, whenever this is high, it is a sign the market isn't degenerate, because loads of people have moved their money from altcoins and crypto into stablecoins. When it gets to this white line though, it means the market is super degenerate and less people are holding stablecoins because they're all in altcoins and crypto in general. And every time USDT dominance has hit this bottom white line, it has perfectly aligned with the major tops in the entire crypto market. So these three indicators are fantastic at measuring degeneracy in the market, which has been an amazing way to tell Bitcoin tops and bottoms. So yeah, simply buy when the market is very conservative and sell when it's very degenerate. Moving on, one crypto whale I regularly watch is TaiZen, and this guy has sold basically every single Bitcoin top accurately since like 2013. And he was telling a story about how many of his price-based indicators failed to call the top last cycle due to how awkward this double top pattern was, which caught most people off guard. However, him and his team still managed to sell near the top because they combined price-based indicators with time-based indicators in their strategy. And they noticed that from a time perspective, the market was nearing the end of a bull run. So it's incredibly important you also use time-based indicators in your strategy, which is what these next two indicators are. The Bitcoin halving chart shows the price of Bitcoin every cycle after the halving, which is represented by the y-axis. You can see how Bitcoin normally goes sideways right after the halving for a bit before going parabolic. We're the black line, and this tells us to expect another parabolic rise to the upside sometime soon. So this is incredibly bullish for right now, but this chart also tells us when to be cautious, as all the previous cycle tops occurred between around 325 to 550 days after the halving. We're still a good 150 days away from that period, but when we do get around there is when I'll start worrying more about a potential top. The yearly chart is another great indicator and really shows how perfectly cyclical Bitcoin has been. Each color represents a full year, and you can see how bear markets represented by red last about a year after the all-time highs made. The market then finds a bottom and goes either sideways or a bit up during the yellow period. Then we've got the pre-bull run year, and then finally the last stage of the bull run, which are these really green boxes where Bitcoin tends to be the most parabolic and finds a top. This is telling us that 2025 should be the last stage of this current bull run. So for now in 2024, we seem to be safe from a bull run top as we're in the pre-bull run year. You can't truly understand Bitcoin without taking a look at the macro though. This chart shows Bitcoin with global liquidity on the bottom, and global liquidity means just a general amount of money in the global economy. Global liquidity tends to follow 4-year cycles, coincidentally like Bitcoin, and you can clearly see the exact same pattern for global liquidity happening in every Bitcoin bear market. So whenever global liquidity consolidates and goes sideways, it leads to a bear market, and whenever global liquidity breaks out of these consolidation zones, it leads to bull runs. And logically, it makes complete sense, right? When the money printers turn on, when interest rates are lowered, more money enters the economy, and so more money goes into these risk-on assets. Taking a look at where we are now in global liquidity, we are actually at the breakout of the consolidation zone that we've been stuck in since the top of the last bull run. And so I see no reason why the exact same pattern won't repeat, leading to the bull run carrying on with global liquidity continuing upwards from this breakout. And that's it for all the indicators. Now, the way to use this cheat sheet is to evaluate each indicator individually, and when the majority are bullish, I'll be bullish. However, when we start to get a bunch of bearish signals from many indicators simultaneously, that's a sign to start de-risking in my opinion. I reckon I'll do regular update videos of this throughout the bull run, so subscribe to stay up to date with this. But at the moment, this cheat sheet is still clearly overly bullish. And if you want to make the most out of the rest of the bull run, I suggest you claim the free $30,000 deposit bonus on Bybit by signing up using the link below. Once you've got the bonus, you can actually put your own money on the sidelines and trade only with the bonus and withdraw all the profits. It's basically free money for you guys. Keep in mind though, trading, especially with leverage, should only be done by experienced traders. Otherwise, just hodl and enjoy the ride. I'll see you soon.